Legends, fat loss requires a new identity. What do I mean with that? Let's dive straight into it. A lot of people these days fail their diets, and now it's January, it's pretty relevant right now. And a lot of people fail these New Year's resolutions. Maybe they want to lose 5, 10, 15, 20 kilos, and they come to the end of it, and then all of a sudden they regain everything again. Now, why does that happen? The reason could be much deeper or much different than just, I need more discipline, I need more motivation, etc. For a lot of people, it has to do with a default mode that is when I relax, when I need to be comfortable, when I need to de-stress, I resort to calories. We're going to break this down today in this video and hopefully give you a method on how you can avoid this if you're trying to lose weight here in the beginning of 2026. My name is Christian. I work at Christian K Fitness, which is an online coaching service that helps people all over the world drop body fat, build muscle mass, and create a lifestyle that just oozes of health and performance. So why does identity mean so much when we talk about fat loss? Surely just eating less calories shouldn't be connected to my identity as a human being. But that's where you might be wrong if that's what you're thinking, because of what I mentioned earlier. If you in the past 5, 10, 15, 20 years have had certain behavioral traits around consuming calories, those traits are still going to be there after your fat loss. This is something that you have to learn if you want to keep the weight off for good. If you have added, 5, 10, 15, 20 kilos of body fat through emotional eating, through after work I'm stressed out, I need to go to the pub and have a beer and whatever that comes with that, through all these different types of I need to treat myself in some sort of way, finding comfort in food, then removing these, the culprit of the weight gain in the first place, of course needs to be the solution that we're looking for if we want to maintain long term. I always say it's not worth going through a massive fat loss if it doesn't stick. If you have lost a lot of weight in the past, you know how much sacrifice you have to make to lose just 10 kilos of body fat. It's really freaking hard for a lot of people, and especially if you do it alone without a coach that can help support and guide you. So let's break down what usually happens for a person that goes into, let's say, January 2026. They want to lose 10 kilos of body fat, 15 kilos of body fat. They start their diet. What we typically see, people start a way too unrealistic and unsustainable method of a calorie deficit. They're cutting away way too many calories and their deficit is way too big. So this is what we call unsustainable dieting. If you can't maintain your diet style, you're not going to be able to maintain your results again afterwards. Let's take this one step further. Let's say this person comes through the first few months of 2026 and they're now down 10, 15 kilos. They're feeling really restricted at this point. They've made so many sacrifices in the first quarter of the year and they cannot wait until they're done with this fat loss. Then comes the day they hit their weight goal. They're so happy. And the first thing they do, they need to celebrate. So they head straight down to their favorite pub, their favorite restaurant, whatever it is, and they go to town. They consume calories, they eat calories, drink calories, whatever it might be. It's just going. And this reward system from the past has now been reactivated once again. And that is not, unfortunately, going to go away once this celebration is over. So what happens after unsustainably dieting with a way too aggressive calorie deficit, this person is from a metabolic standpoint primed to regain weight much faster because of a term called metabolic adaptation. They have presented a calorie deficit so big to them, to their body, that once this calorie deficit is over, they come out of the diet, their body has adjusted to these low ingoing calories, making it way more efficient at, let's say, 1500 calories, 1200 calories, etc. So that when they then start to eat way more food again, maybe the same types of food they ate before their diet, the body doesn't know what to do with all these calories because it's already primed at a much lower caloric input. This means that they're going to gain weight rapidly, right? We call this the shit zone. You finish the fat loss, you go straight from your fat loss calories right back to where you were. In the span of weeks, you have gained everything back again, but it doesn't stop there. You're going to get even heavier than before you started. And this is where the popular yo-yo dieting comes in. So what is the fix to this? Because it's easy just to point fingers and say, this is how that works. This is what's going on. But how do we fix this? That is the biggest question. And hopefully, or maybe that's why you're watching this video right now. So the first thing that needs to happen when you get to the end date or the end day of your fat loss is that mentally you need to prepare yourself that there is a diet after the diet. It means that you're not going to go from your fat loss calories, let's say, again, I wouldn't recommend this, but like unsustainably low calories, like 1500 as a male or 1200 as a female, etc. You need to spend some time building your food amount up again over the weeks, months following. So you need to go from the low calories, let's say 1500 to 1600, 1700, 1800. Keep monitoring your weight throughout. We call this a reverse diet. Gradually adding those calories, allowing your body to pick up its metabolic function again and kick right back into its full potential, which will be your TDEE, total daily energy expenditure. How do we find that? We keep adding calories over time with every week, every 2 weeks, 50, 100 calories. One day we're going to hit a mark where we step on the scale in the morning and now all of a sudden the weight's going up. Up until this point, if you did it right, the weight's just going to be stable because the only calories that you're adding gradually is at a rate that your metabolism can keep up, increasing itself and burning more and more and more. So the 1500 calories might, by the end of your reverse diet, 1 to 2 months later, be 2200, 2300. This TDEE is going to be dictated by your activity level, of course. How many calories do you burn every single day? How much muscle mass do you have? Your NEAT, non-exercise activity, thermogenesis, fidgeting, walking around, non-purposeful exercise. All of that stuff really matters. If you can set a standard for how many calories you burn, the easiest way to do that is to have a consistent training routine and make sure that we hit a somewhat consistent step goal every single day. If you can standardize that, then you can keep adding those calories. And when you hit a certain plateau where your weight now all of a sudden starts increasing, then you know that's your TDEE. And that is when your lifestyle phase will begin. So we have the fat loss phase, we have the reverse diet, and then we have the lifestyle phase. And the lifestyle phase, this is where we fix identity. This is where we fix old habits around calorie consumption, around I need to remove stress, I need to celebrate something, I need to comfort myself, etc. How do we do that? Well, we can do it in many different ways, but if it is with alcohol, calories, we're going to fall right back into old ways and regain one more time. So in this lifestyle phase, we are going to make sure that we stay consistent with our calories. We're still tracking. We're making sure that we are staying around our TDEE, our maintenance level. We're consistent with our training. We're consistent with our steps, but we're going to allow ourselves now to participate in social events. But we're not going to go from nothing to 3 days back to back. That's not going to end well. We got to make sure that we gradually incorporate this maybe one time per week. I'm going to go out with some friends to the movies. I'm going to allow myself to have a popcorn, maybe a soda, etc. But I'm going to try my very best at incorporating this into my total daily calorie allowance. And by doing this, you can play the calorie game of Tetris and incorporating these pleasure foods into your life without going completely overboard. If we get better at this over the months, weeks, we will be able to also, if you need to celebrate something, if you had a tough day at work and you need to relax with a drink and whatever food that comes with that, well, if you have an idea about your calorie balance, the caloric content of this food, you will also be able to incorporate this without ending the day with a 2000 calorie surplus, falling into the next day, another 2000 calorie surplus, and the old story on repeat. Weight gain, weight gain, weight gain, yo-yo dieting. You know how it goes. So understand this, 2026, if you're here to lose weight, you started your fat loss journey, there is a fat loss phase. After the fat loss phase comes the diet after the diet, and that's what we call reverse dieting. After the reverse dieting phase comes the lifestyle phase. How do you know if you need the lifestyle phase? Well, that is completely up to your past. If you have lost more than 10 kilos of body fat, you most likely need to go through a lifestyle phase where you have to monitor how you reintroduce these high caloric events again. You got to be real honest with yourself and analyze and reflect. Have I in the past gained weight because I'm downing 1,500 calories of candy and ice cream every Friday night? Or every Sunday on the couch watching Netflix with my partner? Am I eating burgers and pizza all day and have no activity and blah, 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 blah? You have to analyze this and figure out like how far is that way of living from how you lost the weight? If that difference is too big, then you will have to spend some time in a lifestyle phase and gradually incorporating these things one more time. This is exactly what we're doing at Christian K Fitness. We help people navigate these phases to help them come from, I need to lose a ton of weight, to come out the other end with a new identity, an identity around food where they know how to celebrate, they know how to find pleasure in food and comfort without overdoing it to the degree where they gain copious amounts of weight and become completely unhappy with their body image, how they feel, and their body confidence. This is not easy. Hence why so many people struggle with this. So if you need help, there's some links down under the video in the description. This is not a salesy video. It's there. If you need it, click it. We can have a talk. Okay, let's move on. I hope this video really helped you shine some light on fat loss is not just fat loss. The reason why so many people rebound is because they just think fat loss is fat loss. I'm going to lose weight and boom, go back to normal life. That's not how it works. I hope this helps. If you like this style of content, like the video, drop a comment, maybe even introduce yourself. Drop me a follow if you want to, or what is on YouTube is subscribe. Subscribe if you enjoy this style of content. I'll be coming much more of this moving ahead. So, anything muscle building, lifestyle, staying lean, fat loss, whatever it might be. This is all the kind of stuff we do. And I want to give as much value as I can on this channel. So stay tuned. See you in the next one. Peace out.